Hello everyone. This video is going to be a book review about this book. I know it's reversed on the screen, but the title is I Kiss Dating Goodbye, written by Joshua Harris. This is Joshua Harris. As you can see, this book looks kind of old. That's because it was published in 1997. I guess this is one from 1997. The first time I heard of this book was when I was in 8th or 9th grade. I attended Christian schools from preschool age until 9th grade. So one of the teachers mentioned this, but I didn't read it as a teenager. I bought this book last year. So a little bit about Joshua Harris before I go into the book. Joshua Harris was born in 1974 in Dayton, Ohio. He was the first of 7 children. His mother and his father were homeschool parents. He began public speaking at age 17, and he started a homeschool magazine called New Attitude. So his parents and him moved from Dayton, Ohio to Oregon. Then in 1997, Joshua went from being in Oregon and became a pastoral intern at Covenant Life Church in Maryland. In 1998, he married his wife Shannon, and they have 3 children together. So right now he's about 43, 44 years old. In 2004, he became the senior pastor of Covenant Life Church, but he stepped down in 2015 because there was a scandal about the church. Covenant Life was under SGA. I'm trying to think what was the acronym. It was like it was a mothership of Sovereign Grace Ministries, and they were accused of sexual abuse and turning a blind eye to sexual abuse of children, and he basically broke away from that. He was a victim of child abuse as well, he admitted later. So he's part Japanese, so you can kind of see Asian features in him, because his mother is a 2nd generation Japanese American. And his new website, which is joshharris.com, is kind of different. It's he's working on something called Clear Loud. He defines himself as wordsmith, communicator, and content strategist. So anyway, now about the book. This book about dating. He wrote this book to give an alternative to dating. A lot of people either love this book or they say this book completely destroyed their lives. He later apologized for the people that he felt his book hurt. One lady was like, "Your book was used as a weapon against me," and he said, "I apologize for my actions." Now remember, when he wrote this book, he was only in his early 20s. So what do we really know in our early 20s for real? I mean, we know some things, but not a lot of things. So now he's more mature, he has more life experience, and so his viewpoints have changed. So the author he was then is not the author that he is now. When I read this book, I didn't read it as a teenager. I bought it last year. So I'm still 28, so I was probably like 27, 28 when I bought it. So I look at this book with different eyes. I can see how people got hurt by the book. It's basically saying that you should avoid dating and focus more on courtship. But the way he painted it made dating sound like it was just a dangerous venture. So a lot of the chapters seem actually kind of dramatic. It made it seem as if dating completely ruined people's lives instead of just being a growing process. He didn't demonize, but he made the whole like sexual feelings and growing pains and all of that seem unnatural and ungodly. But it's just a natural process of life. Sometimes you're just gonna feel your sexual hormones going out of the roof and everything when you're going through puberty and afterwards. But he used some examples of like, oh, this person dated this person and then they had sex before marriage and now their lives were completely destroyed and they can't even look at each other anymore. So keep yourself for marriage. And certain parts of the book I actually do agree with, even though they might be kind of extreme. I have dated. I had some pretty crazy relationships. I've had druggish relationships. I've had, well, actually the person like did drugs and they drank and they like smoked and they were a liar. I've had one where the dude like messed around with all these girls and I guess he ended up having a baby somewhere. And I had another one where the guy was just perpetual liar and then ran off with my friend. Like, so I could see how somebody could see dating as scary if you want to get into those situations where you're vulnerable and your heart gets broken. But it's still, with every relationship, you learn something from each relationship. As far as teenagers go, I think, yes, teenagers should, like, be careful because they're at that point where their hormones are raging, or, well, at least some of them, because as a teenager, mine weren't raging. I was just a nerd. Like, I was very, very sheltered and very, very protected. I was very naive. I'm still naive, but not as much as I was. Like, it went all the way up until maybe I was 22, 23, very naive. Didn't know anything about sexual stuff or all that, or just relationships in general. But teenagers, a lot of them get into lifetime situations because they don't have the maturity to make wise decisions sometimes. Some teenagers, they're on their path. They know what to do. They have a good foundation and just go straight to school. Other teenagers, like, they might be on the right path and then they have like one night stand, or they believe some boy or girl's lie, and next thing you know there's a baby or an STD coming out of it. So it really all depends on the person that you're dealing with. He writes that dating is a distraction. I both agree and disagree with that notion, because there were times when I dated where I was distracted. I was just so consumed by the relationship. One of my longest relationships, I was so consumed by this relationship, I didn't even get my own stuff done. Like, I just was so focused on salvaging the relationship that was falling apart. Okay, what was I saying? Oh, yeah, distraction. But other times, I mean, it helps you to grow and learn. If you don't, I'm not saying go out and date tons and tons of people, but I mean, the more you date, the more you realize like what you do and don't want. So it took a couple of guys to make me realize the stuff I do and do not want. Like, the stuff I will not tolerate that I tolerated back then. I will never date a guy that's doing drugs. I won't date a guy that just consistently drinks all the time. I don't date guys with kids because I already been through that drama, and no. So you get your own preferences the more you date. And it also makes you kind of more lenient, but you still have to be careful, you know? But as far as this book goes, his whole premise is it should lead to marriage. I can agree to that. It all depends on the person. Because some people, they're just serial daters. They don't plan on getting married. They just want to date their whole life, and they have open relationships, or they have polygamy, and that's okay. If it works for you, then okay, that works for you. But dating nowadays is, I mean, it's kind of the same, but it's very different from dating in the past. Because dating nowadays, it's not just face-to-face anymore. It's like the internet is involved. Your text messages, you don't have a conversation, you're either on the phone, or you're texting, or you're on Facebook, or you're on Instagram, and you have all these communication things going on. It separates you from the togetherness, the physical togetherness of dating. And a lot of people, they treat dating like it's just not important. It's just Skittles. That's how people get hurt. When you treat your relationship with somebody as just like temporary, it's like, okay, this person didn't satisfy me that way, so on to the next one, on to the next one, on to the next one. And next thing you know, you're dating like 10, 50 people instead of trying to learn all of the aspects of one person, or trying to learn all of the aspects of yourself so you can be a better partner as well. I was just telling my friend about how sometimes when you're in a certain belief system and you're a complete moron, sometimes the belief system can help you from doing just stupid shit. And I don't know, it all depends. Like, I was telling him about the Bible and stuff. And a lot of people diss the Bible, and they're cool. That's their opinion. But sometimes people are so dumb that if they didn't have any type of doctrine or spiritual belief system to cling to, they would just be out here just going batshit crazy or just doing stupid stuff. Like, I told him one example is from a psalm, and it was Psalm 19:7, which states, "The law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of the Lord is sure, making wise the simple." And sometimes that's what happens. When you have something to cling to, doctrine, belief system, mantra, you'll stay on a straight path. One thing I do like, there's one particular test in this book that I really like. And it was, I can't remember what chapter it was. I hate when I do this. But, okay. What matters at 50? I'm going to read you a little bit of it. As I ponder the foreverness of marriage, one question keeps rattling through my mind. What qualities should I look for in a wife? Perhaps you wonder the same thing as you consider spending the rest of your life with one special person. What would make someone the perfect mate for you? When I think of that question, I know the answer entails many deep internal characteristics, but in everyday life, I still find it difficult to get past the superficial. A cute girl walks in the room, and all my common sense evaporates. How many times have I made a complete fool of myself by falling head over heels for someone simply because of her charm and beauty? Too many times. To cure this tendency, I've created a little game. When I meet a beautiful girl and I'm tempted to be overly impressed by her external features, I try to imagine what this girl will look like when she is 50 years old, which isn't old, but whatever. If this girl is with her mother, this game doesn't take too much imagination. This is like a Korean girl, like where you have the Korean skincare and they look like they're 17 years old. Yeah, that's what I want to look like at 50. This girl may be young and pretty now, but what happens when the beauty fades? Does anything within her beckon to me? Is it her character that radiates and draws me toward her, or is it just the fact that her summer dress shows off a little too much of her tan? So what if her feminine outlines captures my eye today? When pregnancies add stretch marks and the years add extra pounds, will something in this girl's soul continue to attract me? The Lord does not look at the things man looks at. God says, man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. Charm is deceptive and beauty is fleeting. And that's just really interesting because I use that a lot when I'm looking for someone to date. How did this come? Yeah. I use that a lot when I'm looking for someone to, or a guy to date. I like look at his face. I have a whole test. I'm like, okay, you're cute. And I like it. If you weren't cute, I probably wouldn't have looked your way anyway. But you're cute. Okay. Let's see what your brain says. So sometimes you'll have somebody cute and they're just dumb as hell. If they don't pass the intelligence test, it's just not going to work. But sometimes they'll pass the intelligence test. Next is a personality test. So I'm like, wow, he's cute, he's smart, but then he's a complete a-hole. I'm not going to deal with this person. And that's how, like, it's helpful. It helps you avoid certain types of people where it's like, wow, I got pulled in by her smile, I got pulled in by his eyes, and then next thing I know, he's punching me in the face. But this is the most cutest person that I can get, so I'm not going to let them go. That's how some people end up in relationships like that. So if you are a teenager watching this, I'm sorry that I cursed. I didn't mean it. I got that habit from cursing professors. If you're a teenager watching this video, don't be afraid of dating, but focus on school, because the people that you know now, you might not know them in the future. The people that are cute now, they might not be so cute in the future, and you might not be going goo goo gaga over the prom queen or something like that. Same for you if you're older than a teenager, like if you're a full-grown adult, your mature years. Take your dating seriously. It'll save you a lot of hurt. Come to dating as a whole person. Don't look for wholeness in another person. Only you can make yourself whole. Only the God you believe in can help make you whole. Love yourself and treat yourself right. Don't get into toxic relationships. And if you need to stop dating for a while in order to find yourself, then so be it. If you're a teenager watching this and you think that you need to kiss and hug and have sex with the person you're dating, you really don't have to. You don't have to have sex. You don't even have to touch this person. You don't even have to kiss them. I mean, the reason I kissed someone, like a guy, when I was a teenager was because I thought that's what everybody else did. I was so naive. I thought something was wrong with me if I didn't have my first kiss. But there's nothing wrong with you if you don't have your first kiss, or if you don't want to hold hands or be physical. They should just enjoy your company, and that's it. So thank you for watching this video. If you want to get this book, it is I Kiss Dating Goodbye by Joshua Harris. Thank you for watching, and happy reading. Bye-bye.